Programming isn't just about writing code, it's about making decisions. What if you need your program to check two conditions at once? Or maybe take action if either one of them is true? That's where logical operators come in. In this video, you'll learn how to make your C++ code think logically using and, or, and not. Get ready to write smarter, more powerful conditions, in a simple, beginner-friendly way. Logical operators are tools that let your program make decisions based on multiple conditions. Instead of checking just one thing, like if a number is greater than 5, you can combine two or more conditions to create smarter logic. For example, you might want to check if the user is logged in and if they have admin rights, both must be true. Or maybe you'll allow access if they have a keycard or know the secret code. These logical connections are made using just a few powerful symbols, and, or, not. Together, they let your program act more like a thinking machine, evaluating true and false conditions just like we do in real life. The AND operator, written as two ampersands, is used when you want multiple conditions to be true at the same time. Think of it like this: if you're entering a building, the security system might check if you're over 18 and if you have an ID card. If both are true, you're allowed in. But if even one is false, access is denied. This is exactly how AND works in C++. It only returns true when all the conditions it connects are true. This is incredibly useful for filtering, validation, and any time you want to tighten your control logic. The OR operator in C++, written as two vertical bars, is used when you only need one of the conditions to be true. Imagine you're entering a club. You can either show a VIP pass or be on the guest list. If you have either one, you're allowed in, you don't need both. This is exactly how OR works. It connects two conditions and returns true if at least one of them is true. It only returns false when both conditions are false. This makes it perfect for fallback logic, situations where multiple options are acceptable, and any one of them can allow the program to proceed. The NOT operator in C++ is written as a single exclamation mark. It's a bit different from the others, because it only works on one condition, and it does something very simple: it reverses it. If the condition is true, it becomes false. If it's false, it becomes true. This might seem basic, but it's incredibly powerful when you want to check for the opposite of something. For example, if a user is not logged in, you can display a login message. Or if something isn't available, you can skip it. Think of as flipping the meaning of a condition, from yes to no, or from allowed to denied. So far, we've seen how each logical operator works on its own, but in real-world code, you'll often combine multiple logical conditions to make more complex decisions. For example, you might want to grant access if the user is over 18 and has ID, or if they're an admin. In this case, you're mixing both and or together. Just like in math, the order in which conditions are evaluated matters, and that's where parentheses come in. Always use parentheses to group and organize your logic clearly. This helps avoid mistakes and makes your code easier to read and debug. Remember, C++ will follow operator precedence rules, but your parentheses always come first. Even though logical operators are simple, it's easy to make mistakes, especially when you're just starting out. One of the most common errors is using a single equal sign instead of the double equals. Remember, a single equal assigns a value, but the double equals compares values. If you accidentally write if is ready equals true, you're actually changing the value inside the condition, not checking it, and that can lead to bugs that are hard to spot. Another frequent mistake is forgetting to use parentheses when combining multiple logical conditions. Without proper grouping, C++ might evaluate them in an unexpected order. Finally, avoid writing overly complex logic in a single line. Keep your conditions clean, readable, and testable, because clean code is always smart code. Now that you've seen how each logical operator works on its own, let's compare all three side by side, and, or, and not. These operators allow you to build logical conditions in C++. But the key is knowing when each one returns true, and when it returns false. Let's break them down. First, the AND operator. It only returns true when both conditions are true. If either one is false, the whole expression is false. Think of it like, I want coffee and I want milk. You only get your drink if both are available. Now the OR operator, this one is more flexible. It returns true if at least one of the conditions is true. It only returns false when both conditions are false. It's like saying, I'll be happy if I pass or if I get a retry. Only when both fail, you're disappointed. Finally, the NOT operator. This one is simple, but powerful. It reverses the truth value of a single condition. If something is true, makes it false. If something is false, makes it true. It's like checking the opposite. If I'm not tired, I'll go out. Now let's put everything into action with a live coding demo using all three logical operators, AND, OR, and NOT. Imagine we're building a basic access control system. The rules are simple. A user should be allowed access if they are an adult and have an ID. Or, if they are an admin, they can skip the ID check. But, access should only be granted if the user is not banned. Let's translate that logic into C++. We'll define 4 Boolean variables, is adult, has ID, is admin, and is banned. We'll then use a compound condition to evaluate them all. The code checks if the person meets either of the valid access criteria, and then confirms they're not banned. This is how logical thinking is embedded directly into your code. By using AND, OR, and NOT together, we can express complex decisions with just one line inside an if statement. Watch closely as we write and walk through the code. Before we wrap up, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. I'll show you a few logic expressions, and you try to predict the output. Pause the video if you need to think. Ready? Let's go. Question 1, bool A equals true, B equals false, C out, A and B, what's the output? Answer, false. Because A and B is only true if both are true, and here, B is false. Question 2, bool A equals false, B equals true, C out, A or B, output. Answer, true, because only one needs to be true in an OR condition. Question 3, bool X equals true, C out, not X. That one flips the value. So the output is false. Nice job. If you got 2 or more right, you're really getting the hang of logical operators. Let's see what's coming next. Nice job making it this far. Today, you mastered the power of logical operators, AND, OR, and NOT, which are essential for writing smarter, more flexible conditions in your programs. You've seen how to combine comparisons, how to control logic flow, and how these operators mirror real-life decisions in code. We even built a real-world access control example and tested your skills with a quiz. If that felt powerful, that's because it is. Logic is what makes your code think. If you learned something new today, hit that like button to support the channel. Got a question? Leave it in the comments, I reply to everyone. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video, because we're about to take things to the next level. Up next, we'll explore comparison operators in C++, like equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, and how they help your program make decisions. See you in the next lesson, and keep coding like a pro.